One of the topics of Algerian history we tell today. In 1785 Algeria declared war on America, because of the refusal of an American vessel to pay tribute in the Mediterranean, where America had to immediately ally itself with European countries to face Algeria's anger at the time. This is after Britain abandoned its colonies in North America after these colonies had been at war with each other since 1775, where every colony was seeking independence as a state alone and no colony was subject to the sovereignty of any other colony. After the leaders, the wise people, the stakeholders, George Washington and others from various colonies sat down to unite the great American state to be able to confront the world's conditions, especially at sea, but for years they have been discussing who will rule this American state if it unites and where it will be its capital and the provisions of its constitution. And every county representative sought to impose his own interest, so that more than once they disagreed and Kano was a step away from a new war between them. One day in 1787, a consultant gathered them for an emergency session and brought out a series of dangerous documents. Letter found in the possession of an Algerian spy named Muhammad. This spy was planted by the Dey in Pennsylvania, and the messages he found contained to describe the American situation and the chaos they were in. Algeria can take advantage of these conditions by sending an army that invades some colonies and some of them to the alliance and purchases the injunctions. Weaknesses and strengths, including that traders in Boston are strangled by taxes and willing to cooperate with any external party if they are guaranteed freedom of trade, and that Rhode Island is ready to ally itself with Algeria, because Algeria at the time had the most powerful fleet in the Mediterranean and had hundreds of American prisoners arrested at sea who did not pay the levy. Algeria has already been a threatened entity for all Western states, particularly those emerging from them. These letters were from Muhammad from Pennsylvania to a person named Suleiman in Spain, who was between them and the American continent on many commercial cruises at the time. And he always wrote in his letters that he longed for his daughter Fatima, who left her in Algeria, and that he lived in the middle of the Americans as an American without raising anyone's doubts. But he was betrayed by an American friend and exposed. Members of the Provisional Congress were horrified by what they saw as the documents and what Algeria was planning, which made them rush to unite, approve the Constitution, and join this one American state to repel possible Algerian attacks. Indeed, the Constitution was proclaimed and soon adopted. The investigators then discovered that any correspondence of the Algerian spy in Pennsylvania was anonymous and might be the imagination of an American literary who embraced the idea of uniting America and wanted to fear public opinion and pressure leaders to accelerate autism and conglomeration, and found no external force that could scare the leaders of such colonies as Algeria and its ambitions. These 32 letters, and since they became the talk of the American street and public opinion, were compiled in one book entitled The Algerian Spy in Pennsylvania, printed in 1787, recently ranked as the best literary work in American-Arab confrontation throughout history because it was historically a decisive interval in reunion and the greatest motivation for uniting America in those difficult circumstances. This clearly indicates that Algeria is so strong and frightening, and that this era of its history has been so prosperous that it merely glued Algeria's name to an American spy at the heart of political scales, from internal conflicts and fascination and wars to emergency unification, only in order to confront Algeria in the belief that neither an American colony was able to confront Algeria alone.